Congratulations, Africa. We've got 1 out of the 8 quarterfinal berths in the FIFA World Cup for the first time in 20 years. I tell you what, it feels good. It feels good. It's Morocco, and they've done us proud. So congratulations to everyone. You're welcome to this show. Thank you very much for joining us. Murum from Cameroon, Francis from Nigeria stroke the UK, Max from all over the world, but Senegal, but also in Dubai and now in Egypt, and my able director, Niran. This is a show coming to you from Afscoan, the African Football Scouts and Coaches Association, which caters for the integrity, the credibility, and the respect, and opening doors and opportunities for scouts and coaches in Africa by Africans. Don't forget, always follow us on Twitter. We want to create an impression that people have made us proud doing. We advocate for African inclusion in our game in Africa. We advocate for the chance to prove ourselves in Africa. And I tell you what, the coaches of Africa in this World Cup, all 5 coaches have done us proud, but this guy from Morocco has done the business. Niran. Nilan, what do you have to say about this incredible feat by Morocco? You're on mute.
Okay, I was sorry about that. I was watching the game with a lot of tension, and Morocco actually played very well. In my opinion, they were in control of the game throughout, apart from very, very, very few moments, because the game plan worked as perfect as you would like. The defensive players, they played very well. Mazraoui, Hakimi, Saiz, Agued, even the defensive midfielder, what's his name now? Forgotten the name, the bald guy. He played this number 6, was very, very fantastic. And ZH as well was very good. And Nesteri, while he was on, played some fantastic stuff as well. So I'm up for them. They played well. They deserve to be in the quarterfinals, because football is not only about attacking. You can play well and be the defensive side. And they are true, because they deserve it.
Francis, we saw dogged defending. You know, when as coaches, you set your team out and you are playing against a clearly superior opposition. And you know that you've got to do something a little bit special. The statistics of this game are alarming. 77 to 23 in possession. Goal attempts 14-6, and still you maintain that shape. And as a coach, it is tough. That defense, that dogged defense. What else did this guy inject into his players that made them what they were today? Heroes.
What I think as a coach, he instilled confidence and self-belief. That's one thing which I know we've said many times in the past about African countries not having all that self-belief in themselves. And you could just see it from the Moroccan squad from the very first minute. They had that self-belief in themselves. Even when they were under the cosh for a lot of the time, it still didn't mean much to them. They still kept shape. They did exactly what the coach did. And, when you call yourself the Atlas Lions, they really showed that they were the Atlas Lions.
They fought really hard. Murum from Cameroon, you saw a team that played like a united force. We saw a team that played united football, dogged football, and it didn't matter. They did not give too much respect to the opposition. They stood off them. They stood off them and allowed them to do the playing. But when it mattered, when they needed to match them toe for toe, boot for boot, shoulder for shoulder, they did. Or did they not? Murum.
Yeah, once again, good evening to everyone. It's a pleasure coming back to talk about football. We saw a really compact Moroccan team today. And as you have said, they didn't really give respect to the Spanish team. They started the game very, very high. You saw their defensive mechanism, which they put in. They really put in a sort of defensive mechanism, which was really difficult for the Spanish players to break through, even though the Spanish players had one or two opportunities which they could concretize, but it was not such an opportunity which could go very easily through the defense. It was very, very difficult opportunities, and I believe the Moroccans came into this game believing in themselves and believing they could go through. They didn't respect Spain. They didn't respect Spain. They knew Spain could be any other country like any other African country. And I think that was their force today. They went in boot for boot. They did not think there was some star player on the field. They didn't. They knew they are equal to Spain and they are equal to the task. And you see the confidence in which they put in. Finally, it is Spain that lost hope. If you see from the way they had the penalty shots, they are the ones who actually lost hope. When you see the players of the Spanish players going to kick, you see how they went with some doubt in them. But see the Moroccans when they went to take the penalty shots, they were confident in themselves. They knew, oh, they could score. So you see, it is very, very, it's something which Africa is supposed to be proud of today. We are congratulating the Moroccan Football Federation, who has been carrying out a lot of development in terms of football. You see, they were champions in the last CHAN, and you can see the result, which is going up to the national team today. They are moving up to the 8 finals. We only have to tell them congratulations. And we wish that for the first time around in the World Cup, an African team is going to move up to the quarterfinals.
Yeah, absolutely. It was absolutely wonderful. Max, when we were watching that game, you could see that the Moroccan team were very, very compact in the middle of the pack and were forcing the Spanish team to go wide. They were forcing them to go wide, knowing full well that any ball that comes into the box, they had it under control. And that they did for 120 minutes. Now, that is not easy to do in terms of concentration levels. What can you tell me about what Regragui, the coach of Morocco, what he actually instilled into the boys in terms of that defensive shape that made them sit? They sat. Sometimes you say it's not good to play defensive because you will make a mistake at some point. But these guys were compact, they were close, they were in the middle, and they forced the Spanish team wide, and they knew that every threat in the air for the balls coming into the box, they had it under control. Max?
Yo, listen, if you see all of our 5 African countries, you can see the defending is very highly level of defending. African coach and African players, they really know how to defend these teams. You can see like why Morocco winning the midfielder. These winning midfielders and the defending high level that they were doing in the pitch, this start from outside the game. It looked like Morocco is playing in Morocco because they feel like they are home. You can see the stadium is full of supporters of Moroccans. The Arabic are supporting all of them. I think that's the message that they're sending now to the African teams. If we are united, I'm talking outside the pitch. I'm not talking the game, because the game there we all know now how to plan the very decent game. But what we have to do now is we have to gather and be united. When one African team play, all Africa must be behind them, and that will give them powerful to defend and stand up and play for very decent game. That's what I see today. I see the supporter was pushing them. They were all red. You cannot even see Spanish supporters inside the stadium. You can see outside as well. You see like the Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Egypt, they are all supporting Morocco. Morocco's feel like they are home. That's why I think that's why they're winning outside and also they're winning inside the pitch.
I mean, the crowd was the 12th man, Francis, and we saw that in the game. The crowd they were drumming, and the atmosphere was absolutely electric all the way through from start to finish. But you know, when sometimes this is where I want to give credit where credit is due. Sometimes, you know, even that support, that level of support, sometimes can put you under pressure, a lot of pressure. Now, they didn't feel that pressure. Hakim Ziyech didn't feel that pressure. Amrabat in the defensive midfield role, he was cutting out every pass. And he was breaking up every attack. He was doing his job. Saiz, I have never seen. I mean, Saiz played for Wolverhampton Wanderers. And I know he puts on a good shift when he comes to Wolves, but not as good as that. Hakim Ziyech, for goodness sake, this is the second time I'm saying it. People who want Hakim Ziyech to leave Stamford Bridge and leave Chelsea, think again. He's not going anywhere. If he has that kind of performance, in him, he should bring it back to the Bridge, for goodness sake, because it was a performance on the half. What more can you tell me, Francis?
Well, I mean, you've mentioned names, but I think, you know, like every time that we watch now, it starts from the back. And the goalkeeper had a good game. There were times when you had your hands on your mouth. Is he going to miss it? He's going to do it. And he was so calm. I think that's where it started from. The goalkeeper gave calmness to the whole side, that even the defenders felt comfortable. Even when there was an error, they knew the goalkeeper would bail them out. And I mean, the Arabat, number 4, I mean, he was like an engine. There, up and forth. Ziyech, wonderful player. But I just hope, you know, they've done what I would consider the hard bit now. I hope they can do it in the next game. And I hope they don't just rest on their laurels and go, oh, we've got to the quarterfinals. Yeah, okay. And now think to themselves, there's 3 more games to go. We can get to the semis. We can get to the finals. You know, I mean, Morocco, like I said before, to me, their problem always had been in-house fighting. They've sorted that out. They've called the stars back. Everyone's kissed and made up. And look at what they're doing. They're performing on and off the pitch. You know, we've not heard nothing. I really like them. But again, it's the goalkeeper. I mean, he's the unsung hero. Yes, in the penalty kicks, but from the start, it was the goalkeeper. He gave the whole team confidence.
Absolutely. Moram, we will come back to the goalkeeper very shortly. But Portugal's playing in the next few minutes, and they put Ronaldo on the bench. So we've got a Portugal that is as broken as Morocco used to be, that Francis referred to in past tournaments. This Portugal team, if they get past Switzerland, could be a problem. Now, remember, I want to call the attention of everyone to the fact that Morocco are yet to concede a goal in this tournament. And I'm sure that journalists will prove me wrong. They will say, no, that's not the case. But it is, because the only goal they conceded, they scored it against themselves. You know, it was an own goal. It was a fortuitous shot that came in from Canada and deflected wickedly into their own net. So, yes, we build the base from the back, like Francis just said. And when you build a solid background, it's just like building a house, isn't it? When you build a house and the house has a solid foundation, then the building will always be solid. Moram, who would you like to see in the quarterfinal? Because we've now done it. We've done it now. Africa's done it. We're in the quarterfinal. It is Morocco. Now we need to aim higher and aim to get to the semifinal. And we've got Portugal or Switzerland. Who would you pick if you had the choice? You're on mute. You're on mute, Miriam.
Yeah, if I have a choice, I think I'm going to like Switzerland to come up. Why do I say Switzerland? Because they could be of the same rating with Morocco in terms of technicality and maybe the average level of the players. Portugal, same as I said, you see the game, Spain-Morocco wasn't an easy game for Morocco. And the players in this game they are worn out. If you watch very well, you see one of the last balls they were playing, the defender kicked the ball and he fell down, meaning he was finished. They have given their maximum today. So coming with Portugal coming is going to be, first of all, another psychological difficulty for Morocco, because they consider Portugal a big nation, but coming in with Swiss is not going to be a psychological difficulty for them. You know, the game, first of all, is psychological. Once it weighs on you psychologically, it weighs on the field. So, but Swiss is not going to weigh psychologically on Morocco. And I think Morocco can be above Swiss, because if you take the FIFA ranking and the superiority which Morocco has proven, they can be above Swiss on the field. But Portugal coming in, it might be another psychological pressure on them. And what they have had today, I am sure the players have gone down below 50% today, and they need a lot to come back to 70 or 75%. So that is why, for me personally, I'm going to prefer a team like Swiss, which is going to show if not an equal game, but a game for the favor of Morocco, because of the discipline on the field, which we have seen, the discipline in play, which we have seen on the field for Morocco. But you know, Portugal are those teams, when they get to a certain level, now they begin to use experience and maturity. They don't run over, they don't just kick. They have one opportunity and they put it in, and then the game goes to an end. But a Swiss team will keep on running, same as Morocco. They'll keep on trying to attack, because it's also going to be a first time for them also going to that level. So you see that the two teams are going to be on the same level. But Portugal is a regular, and for them, it's no new story, it's no new issue qualifying for the 8 finals. But at least Swiss and Morocco is going to be a new story, and it's going to be the same issue which Morocco can have an upper hand.
Francis, recovery in the game of football, as a coach, it's very important. Now they have done 120 minutes of high intensity football against Spain, defending with their lives all the way through. Now, there's, on the one hand, the physical exertions that they have gone through and the recovery that they have to put themselves through over the next couple of days, and then get going again for the quarterfinal game. But on the other hand, the fact that momentum is on their side. They have just they've drawn with Croatia, they've beaten Belgium, and they've beaten Spain. And momentum and confidence must play a part. Which one outweighs the other, in your opinion, Francis?
I would say momentum, because if you look at it today, you still got the Switzerland and Portugal game to go. We don't know if they're going to go to extra time or penalties. So again, after that one, that would probably decide. But I think momentum, like you've rightly said, they've beaten Belgium, number 2 in the world. They've beaten Spain, former world champions. I think they're on the momentum that they've got this self-belief now that whoever you put before me, we can conquer them. I would say momentum. I would rather they, I'm just going to answer the question you asked before. I'd rather they face Portugal than Switzerland, because I know a lot of the African countries tend to, when you expect them to win, they lose because they kind of get a bit overconfident. But I think if you put Portugal before them, that momentum will still keep them going. They will be relentless and think, okay, we've done one, we've done this. Now it's Portugal. Who's next? So I think momentum is probably what I'd prefer.
Max, obviously, you're a custodian of young players, future Lions of Senegal, and we will touch on Senegal a little bit because this program will be short today. I would take this opportunity to remind us all that this is a World Cup wrap, Africa in Qatar, and it's not ending. We've done 6 episodes and we still are in Qatar. Now, if we had done this show 4.5 years ago in Russia, we'd have been done about a week ago, because every one of the African nations were out. And we'd be there licking our wounds and thinking, of what might have been. But we're still there. We're still going. And this program is coming to you from Afscoan, the Africa Football Scouts and Coaches Association, which is an association that gives credibility, identity, and respect to high-level scouting and coaching in Africa by Africans. To join us, if you're interested in being a scout, interested in being a coach, just send an email to join@afscoan.com. We're not going away. We're not going anywhere. We still want you to be interested. The numbers are not big at the moment. We've only got 600 odd members. But the more we have in our group, the more the types of regani, the coach of Morocco, the Ali says, the more of you guys, of those guys that you can be as well. And you can also come and help them, because scouting is becoming a really big thing in football in the world. Africa should also step up to the plate and let us be like that. Now, Max, as a coach, what would you be telling the boys after the euphoria and the celebration of today? What would you be telling your players if you were in charge of Morocco today, in advance of preparation for the game against Portugal or Switzerland?
Well, yes. Actually, as a coach, remember, let me just go out a bit of your question. What the Northern Africa bringing in Qatar is physical impact. The West Africa, and like if I say West, Mali, Ghana, and Senegal, they bring physical. But we all know in North Africa, which is the Arabic countries, in technical and the tactical side, they seem like Europe's. So what is before, what make them missing a bit is about physical. But you can see now what they bring on the table is more physical part. If I was the coach, what I will be telling them, I will be taking them as a lead of Africa. I will be telling them like, Africa are behind you now. All the 4 teams that are left, we are the hope of Africa. Let's make it for Africa this time. And let them know their mother and parents and everyone are behind them. Let's make it for Africa. And then it's Africa time as well. If I was there, I would just put that message in front of them. Not to put them in pressure, but to let them know we have a big hope behind them. That's the thing I'm going to tell them. And I believe any team, name doesn't matter. I mean, any team, either Portugal or Switzerland or Brazil, it doesn't matter. I know the Moroccan team, they have the technique and the tactic, and now I can see that they have the physical part, which is they used to have a little bit problem of that. That's why I think it's only 3 games left. If they believe it and be the leaders of Africa, you'll be surprised that Africa get the cup at this time.
Now that's a bold statement. Murum, you and I know what has happened in the politics of the game in Africa, where Morocco, this is a country that you like to hate and you hate to like, because of the way that they have gone about things politically, in the politics of football and the comments that have come around them. You cannot help but notice that they have put themselves in that driving seat of being leaders in Africa through the development programs, through the fact that they are calling people to come in from different smaller countries in Africa to come and learn from them. But they have also allowed their football to do the talking. How much credit do you give to the administration when it was Hakim Ziyech, when this other coach was in charge, and he dropped Ziyech for a few games, and everybody seemed to think that he shouldn't have? How much credit goes to the federation and the organizers of the game in Morocco at this time?
I believe the administration of Morocco have a very big role which they have played at this level of Morocco getting to the 8 finals. They have played a very big role because this administration, with Legja as the president of the Moroccan Football Federation, they have tried as much as possible to dominate football in Africa. First of all, let's put it that way. They have tried to dominate football in Africa in every aspect. That is administratively, on the field, technically, they have tried to dominate Africa. And that is being proven in their football, which they are playing today, because you see, they are actually playing a dominating football. They are not playing as if they are doubting themselves, because they have wanted to prove to the rest of the world that Africa can also stand firm in certain domains, but they needed to start in their own continent. Remember, there is a time when Morocco wanted to join the European Union because they thought Africa was moving very slow. Africa was going on a very slow pace, so they wanted to move faster, and they decided that, oh, let's see if we could join the European Union and see if our economy can match that of the Europeans. But when they did succeed, they came back to Africa to now prove in all domains that really the Africans can also progress and they can also go faster. So the administration has played up to about 75% to the success story. Look at the issue between the coach and Ziyech, when the population was crying, oh, Ziyech needs to come back, and the federation needed to take a standstill. It wasn't an easy decision to fire the coach and to bring in a new coach. You can imagine that was done 2 months, I think less than 2 months to the World Cup, and we see the outcome of it. And I also want to praise Ziyech because he has actually proved coach that he was wrong, because look at his performance. He's putting an outstanding performance over there in Qatar, which proves that he could not perform while the former coach was there because there was some psychological disturbance which couldn't make him give his 100% on the field of play. But now they brought in somebody whom he's comfortable with, and you see that he is giving in 100% of himself, which is actually helping the team to move forward. So, as again I said, the administration has played a very, very big and vital role for the performance of the national team. And they keep on trying. That is why, as you say, they invite not only small countries in Africa, there are other big countries in Africa with bilateral relation with the Moroccan Football Federation. They go there, they have free training in Morocco. I have been to Morocco. I have been to their technical center. I was shocked. You see, the girls have an all-round camp. It means after every month, the girls are in camp. And the football development there is an all-round issue. It is not like in other parts of Africa where we think about football only when there is a tournament. When there is no tournament, we don't think about football. In Morocco, it is all round, whether there is football or whether there is a tournament or there is no tournament. And this entails a lot for the federation. You and I know the financial constraint which it means to keep development all around the year. So I think Morocco has succeeded in that, and it is paying out because that is what is pushing them to the level which they are finding themselves today.
Francis, this is a clarion call, a challenge to the rest of Africa. If Morocco can do it, what is stopping the rest of Africa? We've seen this. This is great. It's great as it is at the moment with the fact that Africa is in the quarterfinals of the World Cup for the first time in 20 years is absolutely wonderful. That's good enough. It can be better, and we can have more countries. I mean, this probably might not be the episode that will get us talking about Senegal, about Ghana, about Tunisia, about Cameroon. The almost, oh, it could have happened. What would have happened if Cameroon had scored that final goal or not considered that many against Serbia? Oh, Tunisia, why did they leave their performance so late? And all that stuff. Senegal is a completely different story. Senegal proves to me at the moment what you said earlier on, Francis, that you know when they say charity begins at home, And when the goalkeeper gives you confidence, you go all out and you go and kill the game. And I think what happened in the Senegal case is a call to Africa. We've got a problem. And that problem, we cannot look to Morocco to solve it, because we cannot look in-house to solve an in-house problem. So where do we go from here? Technically speaking, I'm talking about as a coach, as a coach, and as a liaison person with the administration. Where do we go in Africa? Looking at the Moroccan example. Unmute yourself, please.
I'll answer it as best as you can, as I can. When you said the liaison, you look at Africa. To be honest, I think this is one of the first World Cups when I've seen all 5 countries kind of perform. You know, it's a time where you haven't heard any of the countries have any squabbles about on payment of bonuses and things like that. The whole federation.
Because Nigeria wasn't there.
I don't know, but I'm not going to say that. Well, okay, but you know, it's something that you can just see the unity amongst all the federations, and it's not just been at the World Cup that's happened. You'll find that when Samuel Eto'o took over, there was a difference. You saw the way Ghana built their FA. You saw the difference. You can see Morocco, they had the problem, they changed it. Tunisia were the only one who they were more settled, but you know, all the other ones had, and Senegal, they all had slight problems, but they kind of built it with their FA. And I think what we all need to do is the FA needs to change. Morocco are, I would say, years ahead of everyone else right now. And they've kind of set a blueprint for everyone. I think all the other FAs just need to follow exactly what they've done. And there'll be a lot more success in Africa. You know we've conquered the under-17, the under-20s. We've done the Olympics once or twice. But we really need to focus a lot more on the big stage, the World Cup. Like in one of the episodes, I did say that quarterfinals is where the African nations will get. And they've matched that now. But now we need to start thinking past the quarterfinals. We need to think semi-finals is the least that we expect. But I think Africa is on the right path. Well, most of the nations are on the right path. Again, I hope my beloved Nigeria, that we turn things around, because if you look at England, they were going through such a bad patch as well. But look at them now. They seem so confident in everything they do.
Max, I'm going to round up this program on that note, on the note of where do we go from here with Senegal. Senegal, for me, I had high hopes for Senegal. I thought that Senegal was going to do something in this World Cup. They played against a superior England team, obviously. They played, but they didn't give much. Sorry, they did not give a lot. What happened? And where do we go from here with Senegalese football?
Well, with Senegal was in a good shape after winning the African Cup. The Senegal was in the very good plan from the federation up to the team. Everything was well planned, and then the target was semi-finals. But unfortunately, when Sadio Mane was injured, and then 75 of our players was not having enough game in their legs in their clubs, then the plan begin to change to the next plan. Senegal just bring to Qatar 70% of their fitness and of their programs because of Sadio Mane. I think with that 70% and they reach the next stage, they have done well for that. But besides that, I think all the program of the coach of Senegal, Ali Cisse, was programmed in Sadio Mane to go forward, because that was the plan even in the African Cup, and that lead us to win our first trophy. That's why I think that's where we just get little bit things. But from now on, what I think is just we have to, as a coach and a formation, we have to get more Sadio Mane, more Idrissa Gana Gueye, more Sekou Kouyate. In case this kind of scenario, when it's happened, then someone will take over and then carry on. For example, if you see England, England team B or Brazil team B, you can't compare. It's the same like the team A, because each position they have the same type of player who can replace the other player. That is what we have. What we don't have in Africa. Africa, what we do, we have our good 15 players, the best players, carry on with them for 15 years, crash and wait for another 20 years to get another 15 best players. That's the way I think we have to look at it. We have to make sure we create so many young players who can carry on in case if something happened. I think that's where the Senegal fell. But they have done enough for their 70% due to the Sadio Mane's injury.
One word from each of you, and only one word, because we haven't got time. And I'm just going to ask you. Morocco in the semi-final, yes, yes, or no? Max, yes or no? Morocco in semi-final?
Yes, Morocco in final.
In final?
Yes.
Francis?
Yes, semi-final.
Murum?
Yes, semi-finals.
I'm really buzzing. I'll give you some news now. I have been holding back, not going to Qatar. I'm going to Qatar tomorrow. And I'm so happy that I will be in Qatar to watch an African team in the quarter and hopefully in the semi-final. I'm going to go with the faith and belief that
I will meet you in Qatar then.
I'm sorry?
I will meet you in Qatar.
Please. We will see in Qatar. We will present the show together from Qatar when you come. And it's a delight for me to know that I will be there when an African team is still there. So thank you very much, guys, for joining us. It's been wonderful. It's been something to celebrate, and we don't want to taint it with any negative news or any bad feelings. The other teams have done well. Ghana did well. Morocco did, Tunisia did well, Cameroon did well, not well enough. Senegal did well, not well enough. But today it's all about Morocco. Congratulations, Morocco. Congratulations, Africa. We know they wanted to leave us about 9 years ago and go to Europe. We forgive them now, and we now absorb them as one of us 100%. It's fine. We always like to associate with success. Who doesn't? Guys, please. Listeners, if you want to join Afscoan to bring identity, credibility, respectability, and focus on scouting and coaching in Africa, and to bring up the level of development and awareness of the game in Africa, please join Afscoan. How do you do it? Send an email, join@afscoan.com, and follow us on Twitter. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel at all times. These guys, Murum, Francis, Max, they are our regulars, and you will learn a lot more because they have different perspectives to the game and in their own different ways. And I have my own perspectives as well, and I hope they match. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming today. And we're seeing you again in the next couple of days. Before the Morocco quarterfinal game, we're talking again. Thanks a lot, and cheers.
Thank you. Thank you, Francis.
It's a pleasure.
Bye-bye.